What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Filsinger Games Character Spotlight with Mike, Brock, and Jeff.
I'm Mike.
I'm Jeff.
And that makes me Brock. And today we're talking about two more characters from Sudden Death 2094. We have Ms. Liberty and Destructon 3000.
I think you added the Ms. I think it's Miss.
Yeah,
Oh, it's definitely Ms.
MS.
That's Miss.
Nope.
She's not awesome, so it's not Ms.
It's Ms.
Well, we can start with the home wrecker.
Wow.
Wouldn't that be U.S. Patriot, though? He was the home wrecker.
Yeah, luring her away.
There's a restaurant right down the road from me. They have a hot dog named the Homewrecker. It's a foot long.
Ooh, it's clever.
Sounds like a double entendre there.
It is.
Yeah. We're gonna have to go rated R on this episode.
Nope.
Sorry.
Gotta put a disclaimer up now. Nope. No one understands what that means.
Parental advisory, explicit lyrics.
But I was impressed yesterday that Chiefs won the Super Bowl.
A month from now, when this episode drops.
At least they'll know when you shot it.
Yeah. No, this one should go up next week, actually. Well, never mind. We're talking way too much behind the curtain.
Okay, so Miss Liberty, odds are I'm probably the only one who used her.
I used her a couple times.
I used her, just not frequently.
Not a lot when this came out, though. Later on, when Cassandra got there, used her a little bit.
Yeah, at this point in time, I'm in 2105. I started my women's fed in 2103. So she didn't get a whole lot of time wrestling. You know, because I think the only other female wrestler it was Amazonia.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just not a good match.
They were both good, too.
Amazonia wasn't a good match for anyone, though. She was too powerful.
Yeah.
I used her. I always used them as an attraction match because we didn't have enough to have a full federation or a division. I felt. I know. I just was looking at my recent results. I used her in my Solar Slam, which is my Summer Slam in August. And she took on Maxine Babe and won via count out when Maxine Babe was getting beat up pretty good. She had 4 tokens on her and just was like, "I'm out." Not doing this.
Makes sense to me.
So, I mean, there was a little hype there for a few weeks on my weekly show to build that match. But after that, it was like, okay, we had our spotlight and they're gone again.
Stunk up the joint.
No, it was fine. I mean, it's a 2.5-star match. It was 5-star or, 5 total tokens in the match, which isn't bad. It just, you don't have enough for a division. So what are you going to do?
Right. Maxine Babe didn't even come around till much later either.
Yeah, I'm in 2100, so that's when I was using her. I'm sure I've had spot matches here and there, but that's outside of that. I've never had any consistency with it. They are roving talents in my federation, and usually valet.
Yeah,
not actual wrestlers.
She's not even very good at that.
No, distractor rating's not there.
She has a distractor rating of 5, which is below the generic one that you get of 6. So, isn't it any ringside ally has a 6 automatically? Or is that a new rule?
That's a newer rule, so I wouldn't know it.
Okay.
Should be in one of those new books.
No, I've already read ahead because I'm in the final month of my 2100, and I know in 2101 is the big wedding with U.S. Patriot and Miss Liberty. I don't know how that changes things, but they're going to be wed. And then we do have a long history of wrestling weddings, which makes things interesting. I remember the most predominant one I remember, besides like the Triple H Stephanie McMahon car scene with her knocked out, was the Macho Man Miss Elizabeth Heaven and Hell SummerSlam '91.
That was the only one that went off without a hitch that I can remember.
That's a good question.
The generic distractor rating is a 5. I just looked it up. So she's right there where anybody who's out there gets a 5.
So she's got the irrelevant distractor rating.
Mm-hmm.
So
it could be literally anybody.
Mm-hmm.
On her card, you can see how full it is.
Yeah.
She is a 2-time GWF Women's Heavyweight Champion. And I remember she upset Amazonia once and upset Tiger Mask. Her reigns, both her reigns equal 2 cards. So she's able to defend it once and then lose it the next match.
No, I gotta ask because you said the women's heavyweight champion. Do you have a different weight, or is that just your primary title for the men's and women's is the heavyweight, no matter what their weight is?
Yeah, I just call it the heavyweight.
All right.
I don't call it a Divas title or anything like that.
Oh, you're missing out. they could be more than just weighted. They could be divas. Then they could have a spin-off reality show. You're missing a whole market here.
But she still does managing. And she did manage just recently US Patriot and Son of Sam. Somebody made the Commander Sam card, his good one from like his 2087 blue card. And they made that, called it the Son of Sam, and he's Commander Sam's son. And I don't know who made it. They just changed the name. Could have been Chad Olson, Kevin Butcher. I don't even remember who I got it from, but I use them as a tag team. And they just recently captured my GWF tag titles.
Nice.
I think the Commander Sam in the blue with his prime was like 2079, wasn't it?
Okay, yeah, that could have been it.
The blue one, yeah, because 2087 he was already old.
He was aged fast.
Yeah, he did.
He went downhill fast. That Commander Sam. 2079 was the blue one.
He eventually goes crazy. So I was looking up other full wrestling marriages. Gonna hear one that I just found.
Uncle Elmer?
Al Wilson and Dawn Marie, Tori Wilson's dad. They went on a honeymoon afterwards. That was the big storyline. Honeymoons did not go well, but the original wedding went off without a hitch in 2002.
Well, there you go.
Just reading through. Trying
good
to give
for Al Wilson.
Yeah, good for him. Tori Wilson's dad made it work.
I wonder if that was her real life dad. Probably was.
Oh, I assume. Yeah, there's not many other ones that were successful. They call them successful in this article, but they definitely had interruptions. That one did not.
So you guys never? No, I use it because I have my own women's federation, but you guys didn't use them much.
You know, I think especially with modern wrestling, the women's evolution and everything, I'd really like them to have more because I do enjoy it on the show, but I've never felt we've gotten enough to create a whole division.
Yeah, I had to bring in a bunch of bootlegs. I got a bunch from Brock.
That guy there?
Yeah. And
what federation were they originally in, Brock?
Next Dimension Wrestling.
Oh, I hear that's fantastic.
It's amazing. If you want to follow it live on Twitch, Sunday nights at 9 p.m.
Stream Raiders.
Stream Raiders.
All right, I had to get the shameless plug for Brock. It was set up perfectly.
And I got another female wrestling set from
was it Jack?
Jack's, yeah.
Loud and Noxious.
Yep. His is good.
And that filled up my wrestling. Plus a few GWFZ.
Yeah, the GWFZ had several in there. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
So I have it all worked out. But yeah, I'm slowly introducing them. Like it's I can go back to the very first Galacticon when Tom asked us, hey, should I bring in women wrestlers? And every person said no.
Except for Jack.
Jack didn't vote because he wasn't there. He left after day one.
His mom had to pick him up too early. He had to be little back then.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think it's got its niche, and I think that they've proven themselves over time, especially 2015 and beyond. I think that we could really make an argument they should be included. It's just prior to that, I mean, they're few and far between, especially when you're talking about if you believe that WWF or WWE was the elite federation. I mean, I remember like the Jumping Bomb Angels and Wendy Richter, and like they were just few and far between.
Oh, you mean Jumping Bomb Angel Red and Jumping Bomb Angel Blue?
Sure, why not?
Didn't even bother to learn their names.
Nope, they just called them by their singlet colors. Like there's red and blue.
But they were entertaining. They were way ahead of their time.
Oh, they were phenomenal,
like-
especially for back then, going against
Oh yeah,
the Glamour Girls.
yeah, Glamour Girls. Yeah, I mean the '80s had that, and then you got into the '90s, it kind of fizzled out. There was a few there with the Lunger Blaze and whatnot, and then you got into the Divas era, which really wasn't women's wrestling. It besides a few matches here and there.
Alundra and Bull Nakano, or was it Bull? Yeah, it was Bull.
Yeah, Bull Nakano. Yeah,
they had some top-notch matches.
Yeah, and I actually saw a wrestling panel I was at where she was one of the guests, and it was her and Vicky Guerrero and Melina, and the other two were basically talking about watching Alundra Blaze when they were younger and how they were inspired by her to even go in the wrestling business. And it was actually a really good panel. But to see her influence on all the other women, it was impressive.
Deuce, that's her like behind the scenes nickname.
Medusa. Well, she went on to drive monster trucks.
It's very successful at it too.
Yeah, pretty cool.
We are segueing way away.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
That's what we do.
Let's reel it back.
She was kind of a Miss Liberty of our generation.
She was. They wore very similar attire too.
Yeah.
Honestly.
How would you upgrade her?
I was just looking at her card.
Jeff has no idea what the card looks like.
Yeah, I've got it.
Can't see that.
I don't remember off the top of my head her moveset or anything. Like
she has a C rating and ring. I would change that to a B. Other than that, her card's not really that bad. She's got a 7-4 pin, but
yeah, that's what I was thinking, because I use her, and that C rating has cost her more than a few matches already.
I'm sure.
Especially with the starting off at a 4, you get pinned twice out of the ring, and now it's you have a 50-50 chance of getting counted out.
And she's got the deadly level 2 move on level 3 offense. I'm never a fan of that.
Body slam. Oh,
yeah. Hers is a forearm smash.
Forearm smash, yeah.
A lot of people had that then, though.
Yeah.
It wasn't out of place then.
Yeah, I mean, she originally debuted in 2089 and then got her stats in 2094. So, I mean, you just got to look at the time period, though, who her competition was. Amazonia was obviously it made the women's division not plausible because she was the Andre the Giant of the division.
Miss Liberty's here, and Amazonia is about here.
Yeah. Definitely mismatched.
It's like having, here's Executioner. Okay, you're going to fight Thantos every match.
Good luck.
Yeah, because there was no other women in the Fed at that time, right? 2094.
Yeah.
It was just the two of them.
Just the two of us.
They were not building castles in the sky.
Let's slip on over to the man from, where's he from? Recon or something like that?
He's from Gettock.
Gettock.
Gettock. And he was the first, like, overly powerful guy that came to the Fed. Like, you're not supposed to use him, was like the disclaimer.
Yeah.
You use him minimally, not eligible for titles.
I remember because I was sharing a Fed at this point in time. So my buddy Rob got in the set, and he called me up. He's like, man, there's this wrestler Destructon. And he goes, he's got 4 downs on level 2. And, he's like a -5. And and I'm like, how do you beat him? And then he's like, well, hold on. Oh, you're not supposed to use him.
You're not supposed to use him. I mean, he has no level 1 moves.
No.
His level 1 offense starts off with a level 2 move. And then every level 1 defense is a reversal.
Why does he even have power and agility checks?
Yeah, he doesn't need it. I think
Because there's
that
nothing
was,
better than a -5.
but
He
that
can
was
get
the
hurt.
rule. That was the rule back then. You had to have one, right?
Yeah.
And
So,
he
I
could
mean,
have got hurt, got reduced.
this
True.
man does not get hurt. The only shocking thing about him is that his pin is a 3 and the vulcanizer is only a +3.
He's got A's down the board on all his chart situations.
He's a little weak in the cage. It's only a 3 pin as well.
What a wuss.
I can say I never used them.
I believe I
never saw the
used him in
point.
a match or two because I think there was that storyline where the gladiators were so much better than everyone. The Aetherans were just better, and he made a point that I'm going to intervene, and that was the decision in my Fed was, well, you're not supposed to be involved. After that match, it was like he's not a legitimate wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
I know my buddy Rob used them. He put him in the ring against Mayhem, Massacre, and Brute, and he trounced them in a 3-on-1.
Yeah.
And I'm like, in real life, you just would have taken the, you would have taken the gladiators and just put them to opening card status now because they just got jobbed out 3-1 by a guy.
Mm-hmm. This isn't just any guy, though. This is Destructon 3000.
Yeah. He hasn't gone through the machine that makes him, eligible to be hurt like Destructon 4200.
Right.
But as a manager, he did quite well before he left.
We had a Distractor rating too of 7.
Yeah,
Yep.
It's decent.
He 4 GWF tag titles, 2 GWF heavyweight titles, and 1 CPC tag title. So those heavyweight titles were Raven. The tag titles were, Mason Dregs.
Mm-hmm.
Guess I never thought about that, but I have some reigns with his crew too. I mean, I use the managers.
Oh yeah, as a manager, I thought he was better than Guile because he could back it up.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and he was the first real manager that could back it up in that way. I mean, he was unstoppable. Let's see here.
He's got a very 90s drawing, too. Belts and
He had the
pouches.
Steve Austin vest before Steve Austin.
He did. 6 years before Steve Austin.
Yeah, where I'm at, Raven has 2 title reigns. I know New Order has some title reigns too. Let me see here. They have 2 as well. So I mean, he's led them well. I obviously have more dominating tag team than them and better singles than Raven, but he's done a good job. It's respectable.
Yeah.
He'll be remembered, not lost in the shuffle.
Exactly.
That's all anybody truly wants, is to not be lost in the shuffle.
That's all I could hope for.
Especially the Brock shuffle.
Mm-hmm.
That's a deadly shuffle.
You get to wrestle twice a year.
Yeah.
You're gonna make him regret it again. He's gonna have to go back and play.
Nope, I'm not going to do it.
Oh, did you already decide?
No, I'll probably end up doing it. I just don't have time. I don't know what day in the week I would be able to add something.
And we can't really say how would you upgrade him. I'll give him an 8 distractor.
Lower his pin.
That's what I was going to say. Lower the pin down.
Yeah, he's a 3 pin.
I'm giving him an 8 distractor.
Make it 10.
You know, if we would have thought about this more,
Yeah.
if we would have thought about this just a little bit more, we could have talked about what wrestlers could actually beat Destructon 3000, because it'd have to be almost somebody that has a level 3 move on level 1.
Yeah.
Because they have to do that and then hit the pin and then either a Snake Eyes or a 2-in-1.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's about it. Because after that, he's taken over.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if you hit if you get a level 3, get him to roll the pin, and then you get another shot, even if he kicks out, to hit your finisher.
Yeah. So there are people that can beat him. You'd almost have to, that'd be a fun little challenge. Let's just throw every wrestler at him until someone beats him.
Yeah.
Well, you could do
Starting
it.
with Ms. Liberty.
You could do it. You have the computer. You can do matches in seconds.
True. It's not the
just
same though.
Just
It's
put
not the
Chaos,
same.
It's not the
Chaos
same.
versus Destructon 3000. Go.
It's not the same. And I gotta tell you, I don't think Chaos would have as good of a chance as say someone like Spike, because Spike has the +4 Mega Destroyer.
Yeah.
Like whereas it takes Chaos usually a few times with his 0 pins. I mean, he could obviously.
Mm-hmm. You had to get down there first, though.
Yeah, that's the hard part.
Mm-hmm. Only one down on the card with a
Do
lead.
not roll level 1 offense. You will lose.
Yeah. How much are you going to piss him off with your level 1 move? Is basically what that is.
Slap. No.
They should have thrown a 3 in there just for fun.
Yeah, Chaos would be able to do his indestructible drop because he has a -5 power. So he'd have a level 1 that he could put him down. But he'd have to roll that 6 into their pin and then go nothing but bow of defeat until he'd beat him.
Uh-huh.
But what a moment.
It would be amazing.
That would solidify any wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Suppose if you wrestled like, the best out of 35, you might win 1 or 2.
Yeah. He's
So
definitely beatable.
Here's a request. Any viewers who might be in the comments, if you've ever had Destructon 3000 lose, we want the story.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
When and how did it play out?
If you kept records.
Yeah. Legends, you can use Andre.
Yeah.
Actually, didn't he? People have used him in the GWF Cup till he won it.
Yep. Yeah, he was used a lot before he finally ended up winning.
Yeah, he didn't win it his first few times, so he did take losses.
He didn't win it till 2020. Yeah, or 2021, I think. One of those two. Kevin Butcher won with him, I think.
It took a lot of years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he wasn't always used.
No,
I don't recall him being used at the Galacticons I was at.
Yeah, I think he was blacklisted for a little while then.
Because Iron Hand would have been about the same, right?
Who?
Iron Hand. You don't remember Iron Hand?
I remember Iron Hand. Well, I never used them because I'm not there yet. But
I used him. What year was that?
Like 2118-ish, I think.
Was he in the 2118? I thought he was the commissioner a few years in after New Beginning.
Let me look it up. I'm in the wiki here. That's still on there. That's back far enough.
Gotta get that updated.
21-23 he came in.
Okay.
Yeah, I have no idea who he is.
Well, in like 18 years, you will find out.
I will.
Spoiler alert.
Or about 43 in real life.
It might eventually get there someday. I'm trying to look at his stats since you told me the year. Come on, internet. Yeah, I'd like to see some of the features online updated. The wiki is a good thing.
Yeah, the wiki is really out of date.
Yeah. I just got a site can't be reached. That's not good.
Uh-oh.
It could be the internet.
Well, you guys are looking through that. I'll set up the topic. So we decided we're going to rank the 24 original wrestlers in our own rankings.
Okay.
See how much they vary. Did you guys want to start off from best to worst or worst to best?
Down? Let's build up. Let's build up. Let me get the list. I'm not going to remember all of them.
I'll get it up. Iron Hand was not as good as Destructon 3000. He only had 4 reversals on level 1 defense. He did not start with a level 2 move on level 1 offense. He did have a +5 finisher, but his agility was a 0 and his power was a -3. But his pin was only a 1, and he did have a dazed 1 on level 3 defense. just for a little recap. But he was the most modern, like overly, you're not supposed to use him, but you can use him guy.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, sorry, back to the task at hand. I'm bringing up my 2087. I'm just here to distract. I don't even know why you guys invite me. You're like,
What's
we
your
got
distractor
topics.
rating?
We're like, we got this topic, and I'm like, and it's over here.
I have my 24 all set out.
Ooh.
I'm prepared. I did my homework just
You
because
got your Dewey Decimal System cards there.
Yeah.
Worst one in the original set. Okay, I'm ready. Let's do this.
You ready, Brocatola of Rock and Rolla?
I'll be ready. I'll be all right.
Brocatola equals butts and seats.
It does.
So I have Omega as number 24.
So do I.
Same. That is exactly who I have.
Yeah.
Want me to go first this time?
Yeah, I guess there's no debating. He was just a bad wrestler.
Well, he wasn't bad. He was just old. I mean,
Yeah.
if you played classics, he was amazing.
Oh yeah,
He's
no.
the best wrestler in my federation's history because I played the classics.
Yeah.
He's just past his prime. It happens.
Happens to the best of us. Happened to me a lot sooner than most people.
I don't know if I consider myself the best of us, but it happens to me too.
Number 23.
I'm gonna go with Death Knight.
Yeah, sorry, Pete. Pete Beck, I'm sorry, but it's hard not to go with Death Knight in that spot.
I have Beast Rider.
Oof. Poor Tarek.
Yeah. He just did very little for me.
Did Death Knight do anything for you prior to becoming Death Mask?
He won some good tag matches and stuff.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. I had him and Vanity as a tag team.
The man in the Death Mask. And like so pretty.
They were called the Cosmic Pulverizers.
Ooh.
And they upset a few guys, so that's why he got bumped up.
Cosmic Pulverizers, and you got Body Count. I like your names.
So you can go next then, Jeff.
Okay, so we've got Omega, we've got Death Knight, you've got Beast Rider. Beast Rider would be my third. My third to worst.
Vanity. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I got Death Knight then.
I have Vanity next.
Ooh.
Ooh, no love for Vanity.
I liked him. He just didn't do anything.
Yeah, Death Knight. For me, he was okay. He was one of the excuse me, bottom four, but just couldn't get a roll.
Mike needs a break. Wouldn't happen if you had milk in a bag.
And who? Oh yeah, Brock's got Vanity. So the next worst for me would be Pulsar.
See, we're going off the rails here. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
I'm gonna go with Beast Rider next for me.
What number are we at? 21? I'm gonna go with Genghis Khan. Actually, he never really did much for me.
Really, Genghis Khan?
Yes, really.
And so then we have number 20, rounding out.
See, we need visual aids for this.
Well, since I'm the only one who did the homework, you want me to start it off or you guys figure out?
No.
I'm making my list right now. I'm listening. And
I'm working
making
on my list. Yep.
I got Vanity as my number 20.
I do as well. That's
I already
exactly
used
where I
him.
got him. Well, then you have to come up with somebody else. That's just how it works.
I'm gonna go with Executioner.
What?
I don't remember him doing much.
He got lost in the shuffle.
He
All
did.
2 matches he lost.
I played then.
Oh, okay. Well, what era was the 2-match years?
Everything after this.
2088 until present. Until the Next Dimension Wrestling.
Yep.
Uh,
Number
That's right.
19. Who do you have for number 19?
I've got Mutant. And that's because he, in my Fed, I know for a fact, got a couple fluke wins over Wolf. They had a good
Yes.
little feud. For some reason, Mutant seemed to be the kryptonite for Wolf in my Federation whenever Wolf started climbing. So he's got a little love in my room, in my Fed, but not too much.
Nice. I'll go with Pulsar next.
I got Genghis Khan.
What?
One with 1 or 2 ahead of yours.
2 ahead of me. We probably had Mutant and Genghis Khan flipped. Come on, man. Not that big of a deal. They were tag partners. Society of Death.
Genghis Khan and Kraken were a tag team for me.
All right, we're not to Kraken yet. Don't you disrespect Kraken like that. We're not there yet.
Did we all go for that one?
Yep, we're on 18 now.
I went first last time.
I think it's Mike's turn then.
I have for number 18 the Mutant.
Ooh.
See, I've got. Oh, go ahead.
He did pretty good. He was a guy who could upset people, but I like to throw him in the matches because at 7 DQ and double out of the rings, he could just raise hell.
Yeah, he was a fun character. 18, I have Pulsar.
I'm going to go with Renegade.
That's craziness.
Now you're just talking crazy talk, Brock.
Sorry, I apologize to
I
all the
say that,
Renegade
but I
fans
think
out
it's.
there.
I say that, but my number 17, because I believe it's my turn to go first, is Renegade. You're just crazy though at 18 though. Crazy.
Too soon for Renegade.
Too soon. 17 is right in that wheelhouse where he needs to be.
I'll go with Genghis Khan next.
For me, number 17, the Renegade.
We're in agreement.
Number 17. 18 is just
You're
letting them
outvoted,
go too
Brock.
long.
You don't know your wrestling.
It's
Come
true.
on, Brock.
So I'll go next. My number 16, this is going to come as a shock. Brute.
I don't know if it comes as a shock if you're looking at his stats alone.
Yeah, by
that's what I'm
himself
doing.
he
I'm just
wasn't
looking
much.
at the stats alone.
Mm-hmm. That's reasonable.
We'll give you that one. You get a freebie.
He was a 6'2", like only had one. You can only put you down once. Couldn't keep you down, but a +2 finisher, -4 power, +3 agility, C ropes. You know, he couldn't do it on his own. He needed that tag help, so that's why he comes in at number 16 out of 24.
I'm going to take Mutant next.
And I am taking Executioner.
All right, now we're getting into the cooler people. I'm gonna.
Number 15.
Is it my turn?
Yep.
I'll go with Pit Viper. He's right around the middle of the pack, I'd say.
Jeff?
I
We'll just
have.
do the loop.
Yeah, I have Killer Queen at 15.
It's like Jeff screenshotted my thing when I held it up. I got Killer Queen.
He did.
I saw your index card and I snapshotted it real quick, and I'm just reading it. I didn't have the list in front of me.
He'll flip one here and there. Just to...
It's like, oh, he went him. I'm gonna go with the. Oh, who was his feud at that time?
Yeah, Killer Queen did okay. He was a guy who could do the odd upset because of his double finisher and -3 agility. So he He was good for the odd upset, but nothing major.
Sorry, I'm
Well,
shuffling my list around as we're doing it because I'm like, that guy doesn't go there.
Me too.
Well, Jeff is next. Who do you got for 14?
14, I have Pit Viper, so I'm thinking along the lines of Brock, just a little bit off.
This may come as a shock, but 14, Pit Viper.
That's my guy.
He could have did better, but that C ring just held him back.
mm,
I feel like
I'm gonna go with Octagon.
Ooh.
nice.
You got Proteus higher than Octagon?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
So Octagon always gets to go first because his name's against with an A.
That's not how I do my tag teams. I randomly roll. I roll one die. 1 through 3 is the first guy. 4 through 6 is the second guy, and that's who starts the match.
Now I was just talking with somebody with a name that begins with an A. I always have to go first, so I made sure Proteus went first. And on
I'm
that
always
note,
in the
we're-
middle, so I get lost in the shuffle.
Okay, my number 13, Proteus, the tag partner of Wolf.
The sometimes tag
Or as
partner.
Jeff calls him, Wolf.
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 Yeah, 13. I've got Brute.
I have Killer Queen.
You guys are so wrong.
Is it my turn to go on 12?
That's Brock's.
Oh, dang it!
I'm gonna go with Proteus.
He stole my answer. I have Proteus. If I'd have gone first, you'd been stealing my answer.
I would have changed it.
I'd have been stealing your. Wait, I don't know. Anyway, yeah. No, I had Proteus as well.
I have the Executioner.
Wow, he was pretty high on your list.
He was. He did quite well for me. And I used him as like a Stan Hansen type champion. Like he just, he never wore his belt. He carried it over his shoulder and he beat people with it. He was great. What killed him was that +3 agility.
Hmm.
So now number 11 comes Jeff Manning.
I should be number 1 on your list. 11 is going to be Octagon. I went back to back Greek gods. They really weren't that different to me.
They weren't.
I have Commander Sam. He did pretty good, for a brawler for back then. I think he won the tag title once with Massive, or they were top contenders for it.
I'm gonna go Brute.
Ooh,
Now you're talking.
now we break into the top 10. My top 10, Octagon. Double finishers worked well for me, so.
Well, I've got Lord Nexus.
I'm gonna go with Exo King.
Ooh. The evil one does not approve.
Hey, Brock, who's your number 9?
I'm going to say Kraken. The Invincible Kraken.
He was still invincible back then. Give him his due.
He was.
I've got Massacre at number 9. I didn't use him much in singles, so he only gets a little bit of a boost on the tag because he did carry the team offensively, but he's still.
For me, I have the man with the coolest name in the first 24, Comrade Terror.
That is a pretty cool name.
And the first big alien looking dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's why he cracks a number 9. He cracks the top 10.
Nice.
Number 8 for me is actually Comrade Terror.
Nice.
I have the Exo King.
Ooh.
Surprisingly, he had a good card for back then.
He did.
He always battled for the TV title. He wasn't a heavyweight contender.
Massacre will be next for me.
And coming in at number 7, I have the Invincible Kraken, my first ever TV champion.
Number 7 for me is Commander Sam. He was a
Yes.
legend in my Fed already.
He's my number 7 too.
There you go.
Just for
See,
name recognition more than anything.
Forget Mike. I am now on the wavelength with Brock.
How's that make you feel?
Fantastic. I'm ready to start making some bootlegs now.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I mean Commander Sam in my Fed, I mean he had a good history. I mean he was there, not nowhere near as legendary as Omega, but he had his run and he was, you know, I think that even then I was able to push him in 2087 to where he was a top guy. He was falling off, but he was still in the talks. He had conversations there.
Is it me?
Yep.
Massive.
Number 6.
Number 6, massive.
I'm gonna go with Mr. Powder Blue himself, Wolf.
Ooh.
Really
cool.
didn't do much for me for a very long time. I mean, he had got plenty of chances and just never came through. So I have to put him behind all the guys that held the titles early on.
Makes sense to me.
Phew, I'm glad it
My
does.
next guy, I'm quickly looking him up because I want to make sure he might have been my first guy to capture every title. If he did,
He's gonna move him up all of a sudden.
no, he was
Mr. Homework.
Lord Nexus.
Nice.
Gonna come in.
We call that a grand slam.
He's one of 2 guys to capture all the titles,
Nice.
and he did it in the first 24.
Cool.
Next,
So
for me, cracking my top 5 now. Massive. He's the first man to capture every title. Nexus was the second. Massive was the first to do it.
My number 5 is Exo King.
Ooh.
He had a good 2-month reign with my championship in 2087. So there was a lot of jockeying for top villain at that time in my Fed between him and Thantos and Kraken. So they all have a very high rating in my Fed.
Next for me is Wolf.
Oh. All right, so I guess I'm kicking off number 4.
Yep.
Number 4 was my first champion once the Galactic Code was broken, which was massive. He won the tournament, kind of stepped over Star Warrior and said, "I'm the boss over here." Didn't last long, but I mean, he's forever cemented in my legacy because after the Galactic Code was breaking and there's now heroes and villains, he was that initial hero that walked out with the title.
Nice.
For me, my number 4 is Massacre. He was one of my first 3 heavyweight champions.
That's cool.
He had a solid card.
He did. He did. My number 4 is Lord Nexus. I pushed him like crazy.
You liked the Jerry curl flow.
It was great.
He's awesome. Thought he was like Tony Atlas with hair. I don't know.
I see it.
Who's kicking off number 3?
Is that me?
Yep.
Comrade Terror. His team with Dreadnought will never be forgotten.
Team with Dreadnought. I forgot about that story.
That helps him in the rankings up here.
Yeah. His team with Dreadnoughts. How can you hate on a guy that can team with himself?
He's that good.
Transevolver. I guess I'll go. My number 3 was Star Warrior, simply because, he was I think the third singles wrestler to be put in my Hall of Fame. He had a lot of title reigns. He never really had a long title reign.
That's how he was for me too.
But I mean, he is who he is. He he was my wrestler of the year in 2087. He's got all kinds of accolades. I think he's won the most Royal Rumbles for me, the Regal Rumbles. He's won the Ring Warrior tournament, my yearly tournament, multiple times. He's just, I mean, he is what he is. 4-time Regal Rumble winner, 2-time Ring Warrior tournament winner, multiple-time Wrestler of the Year, but he just never could put together a title reign that I thought was very memorable.
For me, my number 3, Wolf.
Oh,
He's still kicking it, but Santos Star Warrior Wolf just battled for that title back and forth. They just rotated, and every so often someone else would pop in for a cup of coffee until one of those other 3 grabbed it. Which I think the way it was set up for. You had the top heel, the top face, and the top neutral.
Yeah.
The wild card.
And
for sure.
Wolf was the early on anti-hero hero, so if you didn't like the cookie cutter Star Warrior, you had Wolf.
Yep.
So for me next, my number 2, Star Warrior. The good old meat and potato baby face. Happy guy. Hey, I'm number 1 in your hearts.
Whether you like it or not.
He's also my number 2.
For my number 2, this isn't based on results, I'll be honest. He was my number 2 first person put in my Hall of Fame. Outside of Omega was my number 1. So Thantos I have at number 2. I mean, he's probably number 1 results wise, let's be honest. But he wasn't my favorite character to write for. He had a lot of good moments, a lot of classic moments, and unlike Star Warrior, his title reigns were memorable, and his accolades were just as plenty, if not more so. But he wasn't my favorite. That's why I wanted to give my favorite a nod, just because, it's my list, not yours.
Okay.
I didn't steal it from Mike.
Well, my number 1 is Thantos because he completely dominated. Like there's Star Warrior would win the title occasionally, but he would lose it right back to Thantos almost immediately every time. So Thantos has to be my number 1.
Doesn't have to be. You chose it.
Well, he's my favorite too.
There you go.
And he did well.
There you go.
Yeah, for me, Thantos is my number 1. 9-time heavyweight champion, including one run where it was 18 defenses.
Wow.
Which back then, when he did that 18 defenses, it was Chaos, Spike, Matador, Star Wars. He had a lot of top guys, and he just kept holding on. I was shocked when he did his final. It wasn't his final run, but it was his most memorable run.
So my number 1 was Invincible Kraken. I just love the character. I always did. He was my favorite drawing at the time. He was my favorite, especially his next drawing when he had the cigar and the guns and stuff. I just always was rooting for him. Thantos was more dominating. He's my only wrestler to have over a year title reign outside of Omega. But Kraken, by the time Thantos won his first title, Kraken had already won a few, because remember, I played Classics. Kraken was a 3-time champion for me by 2089, and he was my wrestler of the year in 2086. So when the Galactic Code was broken by Thantos, that was Thantos saying, "I'm now the new Kraken," and Kraken was like, "No, that ain't gonna happen." So there was a lot of beef there. I mean, it was just my favorite character to enjoy, and I ever kind of root for a little bit of the underdog. He wasn't that much of an underdog, but he was a little.
Yeah.
So to have him in there, he was more of my jockeying for position more so than Wolf. It was more Star Warrior, Thantos, and Kraken at that time. So that's my list. Top
I
to
like
bottom.
it.
Shocking number 1, but hey, it's your list. You can be wrong.
That's what I'm here for. If we went purely by results, I mean, Thantos is going to be number 1. That's just going to be hands down my guy. I've got my Hall of Fame rankings. Thantos will be number 1, Star Warrior number 2. If you went by all time, Commander Sam would be number 3 because he had 5 title reigns, 2 Royal Rumble wins, 1 Ring Warrior win, and 1 Wrestler of the Year. But that was mostly in early classics.
Yeah, you did. You wrestled an early Fed.
Yeah, 2074 is what I started. So
yeah,
that's how I'm going to restart, going all the way back.
When he finally gets to it.
When I finally get around to it.
It's worth it. I love that time period. It was a fun, and that you actually have an excuse to do 2 cards a year then, but I did 12. But
I would probably make it so I did 12 a year. That's doable. Like
oh yeah, definitely.
the roster was pretty small then too.
Yeah, and it was fun. But anyway, I don't mean to pull away from your 2087 lists and all their glory.
But I went to a collectible show this week. Picked up 4 Star Wars Lego minis. I picked up, let's see, little clone trooper.
Ooh. What's that droid he has there?
It's not the droid you're looking for.
It's one of the ones from episode 9.
Oh, okay.
I have not seen episode 9.
And I got Kylo with the red face.
Oh, the repaired helmet.
Yep. That guy had a few hundred figures and he was selling them for $5 a piece.
That's not a bad price.
No. And then I got an Ahsoka with BB-8.
Nice.
I made sure her lightsabers were the same,
You got that figure for $5?
Yep.
You got a heck of a deal for that. The lightsabers alone sell for like $10 a piece.
And then this one I picked up because I had never seen anything like it. A white Darth Vader.
Ooh. I don't even have that one.
Wow.
I have the weird Darth Vader figures.
Comes with even the butt cape.
It's got to get in the way when you have to poop.
You take the cape off.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't know how schooled you are in wearing capes, but you take the cape off when you poop. It comes untied. You whip it around, hang it on the little hook. You'll be fine. And it does come in handy if you run out of toilet paper.
There you go.
And they all come with a little thing, like so. Darth Vader's got that little cute, like the Sith triangle thing.
It's a star map.
So he's got that. So they all came with something.
Cool.
Except for Kylo.
We had the special lightsaber.
But
Nice.
yeah, they had all kinds of. Like I said, this dude had probably had like 200 different minis.
I'll show you my latest Lego purchase.
Those are officially released Lego minis, right? They're not like we pieced to get something together, or they're not customs, or
No, yeah,
I'm not up on the Lego game like you fellas. I got to make sure I'm not looking at bootlegs here. This isn't Next Dimension Legos, is it?
I don't know about this one. I had never seen anything like it, but
It's probably a custom print job.
Yeah, it very well could be, but I was like,
But
yeah,
I'm sure
I don't mean to knock it. I'm curious.
He's knocking it. He's totally knocking it.
I'm not in the Lego
sounds like a
collector
knock.
market.
He's totally knocking it.
I'm not in the Lego collector market.
Look at this is my latest Lego purchase. Batman cowls in odd colors.
Those almost look 3D printed.
They're not. They're Lego stamped. You just have to know the right people.
I know you. I don't know if that's right or not.
That's not going to get you anywhere.
Ah.
But we should tie this one off since we've probably heading past the hour mark.
Yeah, this is going to be a long one, folks.
Yep.
Sorry about that.
Should have done it in 2 parts.
We're heading into uncharted territory length.
Uh-oh. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening, watching, however you consume this product here on YouTube. If you have not yet, please click that subscribe button. If you enjoyed the video, give us a thumbs up. And also, while you're here, check out the description below where you can find several links to all of our friends who make Filsinger Games related content. We have the official Filsinger Games podcast roll up, the Legends team's Uncharted Territory, which Mike just mentioned, Dizzy Dice by Lee Longpree, and the Filsinger Games fan cast from Grant. And over here on YouTube, we have a solo promoter, also from Grant, Heartland Championship Wrestling from Dave Little, and After Further Review. And then if you keep looking, if you keep scrolling, you'll find my stuff for Twitch and all that fun stuff. So check all that out. And if you have any Filsinger Games related content, drop one of us a line and we'd be happy to include it as well.
Okay.
So this is what the other people do when the guy on the mic just goes and goes and goes with the promos. I like it.
We're gonna make you do it next week.
I'll fumble it big time.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody. We will see you next time.
Night, everyone.
Thanks for joining us.
Later.